All right, guys, we'll go quick review video. I'm going to run through this. Also, I'm going to put on a setting to where you can skip ahead or go back and look as much as you want without any kind of penalty. So enjoy. First one says y is cosine x. Remember, cosine starts at 1, goes down and up, stops at 2 pi. So 1 period would look just like that right there. That's enough for me for tomorrow. The second one says y equals sine x. Remember, sine starts at 0. It goes up, down, back up. So it would do this kind of deal right here. Remember, it does keep going. These little arrows on the end of your graph just to kind of show it does keep going. Tangent, remember tangent has asymptotes at the power 2's. So I'm going to draw asymptotes at the power 2's, just like this. And when you graph tangent, the tangent graph crosses at the middle, and does this right here, in between each asymptote. Hits the x-axis as the midpoint. That's how tangent does. All right, coming on down to the bottom, y equals negative sine x. The negative in the front reflects across the x. Usually sine starts at 0 and goes up. I'm pointing like you can see it. It usually goes like up, down, up. But because it's been reflected, it's going to do just the opposite. It's going to go down, up, down. So it's going to go, didn't mean to do that. It's going to go here, then down, then back up, and down. So it's going to go down, up, down. Don't forget your arrows. Good to go. The last one says y equals cosine x minus pi. Remember, it shifts left to right, opposite of what you think, or today we're going to phase shift. So instead of starting at 0, I'm going to start at pi. That's my real 0. Cosine usually starts at 1, so I'm going to start it at 1. And it goes down, up. Should stop at 3 pi this time because it's been shifted over 1 pi. And that's enough. Good deal. All right, it says determine the amplitude, period, and phase shift. Then sketch the graph. So I'm going to go amplitude, period, phase shift, PS on all these. So amplitude is always a number in the front. It's always positive, so it's just 2. The period is always 2 pi divided by b with the number in front of the x. This time it's 1, so it's just 2 pi. That's how far I'm going to go. The phase shift, this time there is no phase shift because there's no parentheses. It has to be a parentheses for there to be a phase shift. Remember, it's C over B. So when I graph this one, first of all, amplitude is 2, so I'm going to go to 2 and negative 2. Make sure you label that. It's a negative in the front, so it's been reflected. So usually sine goes up, down, up. This one's going to go down, up, down because it's been reflected. Okay, that negative 2 reflects it. Second one, cosine x minus power 2. Start with the questions. Amplitude is 1. There's a 1 in the front. The period is 2 pi because 2 pi divided by b. There's nothing in front of the x. Phase shift. The PS has been shifted right. Pi over 2. Always opposite. Remember, it's negative c over b. So what that means is I'm going to start my graph at power 2. Right there, cosine actually though starts at 1 and negative 1. So I'm going to put the point up here. It's my fault on that one. Go down, up, stop right there. So it's going to look just like that. Number 8, same deal. Amplitude, number in the front, 2. Period, 2 pi divided by what's in front of the x, which in this case is 1. It's just 2 pi. The phase shift is going to be pi, and it's sine. I'm going to put a 2 here and negative 2 because that's the amplitude. Start my graph at pi. Sine goes up, down, up. So it looks just like that. All there is to it. Number 9, by far the toughest one on here. I'll go through that one pretty slowly. It's going to be a little crazy. Just hang in there. Amplitude is 1/2, number in the front. The period is 2 pi divided by b, which in this case is that 2. So 2 pi divided by 2, the period is 1 pi. The phase shift, you do negative c over b. So I'm going to do positive power 2 divided by 2, which is actually power 4. Okay, so the phase shift is where you start your graph. So I'm actually going to start my graph at pi over 4, which is like right there. This tells you how far to go. So I'm going to go pi away from pi over 4. Pi is really 4 pi over 4. So if I go that far away from 1 pi over 4, it puts me at 5 pi over 4, which is just like 1 1/4 pi, like right there. That's my 4 slash. So I'm gonna find the one in the middle, right there, and there's my 2 other ones that are there. So my amplitude is 1/2, so I'm going to go to 1/2 here. Starting my graph at pi over 4, but it's cosine, so it starts up here, it goes down, up, and it's going to look just like that. Pretty tough one right there. Okay, just being honest though, but maybe you'll have a star. Number 10, last one. All it asks you for, you don't have to graph anything on number 10, it just asks you what's the phase shift. The way you do phase shift, remember phase shift is always negative C over B. Opposite of this number over that number. So you put the opposite of negative pi, which is positive pi, over 4. And guys, that's it. That's the phase shift. No graph. Phase shift, negative C over B, just like we did in class today. All right, hope that helps you. Please do well tomorrow. Remember, this test, whatever you get, replaces your lowest test score. So do as great as you can. And I'll grade it as lenient as I can to kind of help you out as much as I can. So do great. See you tomorrow.